Hi, I'm Carla. I proudly manage the brand team at Perkbox. In our team, we've got writers, designers, and video editors, so quite a broad spread of disciplines. Everyone comes with their own school of thought, their own ways of working, and obviously quite different personalities, like most teams. As managers, we've got a responsibility to look after our team members, to help them do their best work, help them learn and grow, but also to support their well-being. Over the last couple of months, well-being has probably become the number one buzzword, so I thought I'd kick off this conversation with you as to what well-being looks like in practice and how you as a manager can support your team and truly make an impact on their everyday. Here are a few of my well-being tips to ensure that looking after each other is part of your culture. Lead by example. Your team's well-being starts with you. If you practice what you preach, your team will follow. Your company can have the best well-being strategies in place, but if you don't take advantage of the resources available, neither will your team. So make sure you look after your own well-being. Use the resources that's available and be open with your team about when you're struggling or when you need their help. Vulnerability is a strength, and normalizing talking about mental health in the workplace is really important, and your team will really appreciate it. Balance is key. Work-life balance is one of the biggest contributors to good mental health, and there are many ways you can support this. Review your team's work regularly, making sure that what's on their plate is actually achievable. Encourage your team to take time off, not just a day or two here and there, but encourage them to take proper breaks throughout the year. If your company offers flexible working or remote working, make sure your team takes advantage of it. Sometimes we'll all work a little bit harder or finish a bit later, depending on what the business needs are. But ensuring that your team gets actual rest in between those periods is really important. Be flexible. Not everyone operates in the same way. By giving people the option of flexibility, you allow them to take ownership of their well-being in a way that works for them. For some, that might be a longer lunch break to go to the gym and be able to make a lunch. For others, it might mean that they would like to commute after rush hour. Some prefer an early start and an early finish, and others are more productive a little bit later in the day. If you can offer this flexibility to your team, it's a great place to start. It allows them to take ownership of their own well-being in a way that suits them. Build real connections. Regular check-ins with your team is so important, especially when you can go beyond the "I'm good" sort of conversation. Next time you meet with your team members, ask them questions like, "How is your work-life balance today? Is there anything we can change about work that will help you?" Or last time we spoke about X, there was an issue. How is that going? Once you have built a meaningful connection with your team, it's much easier to have open conversations and find out how they're really doing. As a manager, if you can show that you care, listen, and really want to help, your team will trust you and come to you when they need support. Don't make assumptions. So often, when we're faced with a challenge, we jump into problem-solving mode, which is great for work, but not always when it comes to people's well-being. Instead, ask them how they want you to support them, or if there's something you can do or change that will enable them to look after their mental health better. By asking, instead of assuming, it opens up the conversation and allows you to collaboratively approach their well-being needs. Every person is different, so every solution will be too. Feedback bottom up. As managers, we do not only have a responsibility towards our team members, but also towards the company. It's really important that you keep HR and your manager in the loop as to how your team is doing, their wants, their needs, ideas, and suggestions. By feeding back bottom up, it creates the opportunity for HR to improve your company's well-being offering and also to let them know what is really working well for your team. It's a win-win for everyone when there's an active conversation happening around well-being in your company. Keep your team in the loop. One thing that keeps on coming up when I read about employee well-being is that many employees experience anxiety and a sense of disconnect when they don't feel like they're in the loop. As a manager, by communicating, maybe even over-communicating, you can help bring them into the loop. If there's a big company-wide announcement or meeting, make sure you follow up with your team and ask them how they received the news or what their thoughts are on it. Talking to people goes a long way, and it really helps reduce anxiety. Recognize your team's achievements. Who doesn't love to get a bit of recognition for a job well done or for going out of your way? Teams that recognize each other are generally more happy and motivated. So it's really important you try and incorporate recognition in your team meetings. Celebrate good behaviors, milestones, and big achievements. Feeling appreciated fosters a sense of togetherness and is really good for the mind and soul. You need to practice well-being. Well-being is not something you do and it's done. If you truly want to make it part of your team's culture, it's something you're going to have to continuously work at. Ask your team what is working and what's not. Ask if they've got any ideas or suggestions around how you can support their routines and healthy habits better. Just keep the conversation about well-being going and you will find what works for you. Happy, healthy employees are more productive and motivated. So it turns out what's good for business is also good for employees. I hope you've enjoyed my tips around well-being, and I'd love to hear how you support mental health and well-being in your teams.